Welcome, everybody, to the 5th Annual Building Solutions High Performance Campus Retreat. We're very excited for each and every one of y'all to be here today. We have a wonderful programs set up. And to start off with this opening, I'm going to turn it over to our CEO and President, Bill Kessler.
Thanks, Bill. Good morning, everyone. It's really great to be a part of opening up our one of our workshops in a series. Dennis and I are both very excited about the kind of traction that the High Performance Campus program has gotten, and accordingly, we have several things to announce today. But I think we'd first like to just convey to you that we have despite the pandemic and all the weirdness that we've had during the past year, not only should we be celebrating, hopefully coming out of that as a country and in our industry, independent schools have weathered this. While it hasn't been easy, frankly, I'm really encouraged by the way independent schools have weathered the pandemic, and each of you I know has had to work really hard to keep things going in a way that supports your school's operations and mission. But we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. Our company's been in business for 30 years and doing some special things along those lines. Hope you'll hear about that sometime during the retreat, and or take a look at our website, our 30th anniversary tab on the website, and know that. But we also have some high performance campus celebrating to do. As we have been, many of you who are involved this morning, who are part of the inaugural group, or you're on very early, so you've been a part of this, the development that we have undertaken as a company of the HPC program. You are largely responsible for, because this is a program that is developed around the needs that we saw in the industry going back decades. Some of you, I think, may have been among the first who were, I call them repeat offenders, schools that have asked us repeatedly and frequently to come back and update our facility assessment and the facility audit. We realized when that began happening that there were some gaps that needed to be filled, but also some opportunities that were out there for the more progressive schools, those that were frankly more advanced in their facilities operation and better funded and had better trained people involved. And observing what some of your bosses, the CFOs for the most part, or COOs, from the organizations that they have to get together and share ideas and improve your schools in the business office. We also observed that often the facilities departments did not have those kinds of opportunities to share, to develop relationships where they could get ideas from other schools that were similar, but also knew from that the most valuable organizations of that kind for your CFOs and COOs were ones where the schools had a lot in common. So we felt that one of the ingredients when we formed up the HPC program is that it really needed to be for selected schools, ones that we recognized were really serious about their facilities, had strong people involved in running them, but also had an appetite for training and information and guidance in being more innovative. So the High Performance Campus was born, and it was born out of the needs that we saw among you. So that pattern, we hope, will always continue of our listening and observing and thinking about what we're seeing and modifying the HPC program as we go along to better meet your needs. So what's the celebration about? The celebration is that my good friend of 20 years at least, and I keep saying this, Kevin, when I introduce you, we're going to have to figure out when that was, but longtime friend, and more importantly, a longtime client of ours, Kevin Folsom, whom I think all of you have already been introduced to. Kevin joined our company, a person with facilities management background himself, and we've asked him to direct this program going forward. He's a guy that has walked in your shoes and is one of the really the most accomplished and serious facilities professionals I know. Spent some time in higher ed, has a lot to offer this group. So we're delighted that Kevin is with us, and Kevin is in the role of directing the HPC program. There are some other staff members that he has working with him, and I'm probably going to leave it to Dennis and Kevin to handle those introductions. I'm really proud to have that additional group of people join us, but rather than me bungling what their roles are, I'm going to leave it to Kevin and Dennis to define that for you. But we not only have Kevin, but we've got some good, able backup for him, people who are also familiar with and are going to be playing major roles in with the HPC program. I'd just like to say one more thing about this program and challenge all of you who are attending to help us advance the common cause that we have. This is a group, as I've alluded to before, that is selected. You all have enough in common, and you're all serious enough as a group and individually in your schools to do things that are going to improve the facility. You've got financial and administrative support behind you. We hope that this program meets the need of providing ongoing training and professional development for you. We also hope that it will help you know how to better use us and to apply the services that we have to offer. That's one of the other things that we're trying to do here. But it's also to build that camaraderie and that spirit of having some peers that you can turn to. That's something that Kevin has done very well in his career through his professional organizations. So I hope that we can really get serious about relying on one another and thinking of this as a quality circle or a peer group that is your first stop if you have questions. We want to building solutions, that is, wants to definitely be asked. We want to be available to you to help you solve problems and answer questions, but we'd also like you to feel free to bring your peers into that discussion, and that'll naturally happen when you consult with us. But I think if we can think of this group as wanting to accomplish that, to build that peermanship, if you will, as well as being a source of information and guidance about your facilities from a professional group of people that we have here at Building Solutions. I hope we can embrace all three of those. Dennis, I don't know if there's anything you want to add. I know you're fighting off a little bit of allergies right now, but if you want to add anything and then pass this on to Kevin.
Yeah, no, thanks for the introduction. I think it's always important and for everybody on this call to continue to know that even though you may not see myself or Bill as much as you used to in the past, I see a lot of friends on this call where we're really in the background on a daily basis trying to improve this program, which this program, HPC, has become the most important, at least for me, and I feel Bill feels the same way, the most important program for our company. HPC encompasses everything we do as a company, from our project management, which we have clients that are HPCs that are using us in that capacity, to our consulting services, which involve anything from energy modeling to other items, and also, of course, as most of y'all know, our assessments. What you'll find this retreat is that we're probably going to be more bold in the way we speak to you and the recommendations we give. We've learned a lot. I think we're going into our 8th year with this program. And as Kessler said, there were clients that we were doing quasi HPC, but it wasn't the full program. So have learned a lot. One thing that we do know is that it is a team effort, and it isn't building solutions just telling you what to do. It's us coming together and being able to come with the best solution, and you using us as the technical advisor, but letting us into your world helps us to better understand what directions you're taking, and we can better give recommendations. Oftentimes when we do our initial assessment, we're seen as sometimes the bad guy, sometimes the auditor, the person who you don't want to show too much because they're going to expose you, and that some of that could be true. I mean, we're a third party, unbiased assessment in our baseline, but with HPC, it's not that. We've already done that, and you've opened up your doors and said, hey, we want to be a part of this program. We want to help. So the spirit of us being a part of the team and not somebody who's just on the outside. Everybody on this call, we feel that transition has happened, and it's happened at various levels. But now what we plan to do, and when I say be more aggressive, is we have years and years of data on your campuses and with your physical plant. What you'll find in this retreat is that we've created our own internal software, which we call FM Connect, which allows us to take the data and create these data points and be able to really start to chart what are the items and where are the areas you're performing, what are the areas where we can help you achieve better performance. And since we're all in this together as HPC peers and fellows, we're looking at how one fellow may be handling a situation differently and maybe better than the way you're handling it, and bring that up in a natural way and not have it be something where you have to call us or it has to be unnatural. So with Kevin on board, we hope to first show that we do have somebody that's been in your shoes on the facility side. But I also see we have somebody on here like Paul Mayhew, which this program isn't just for the facility directors. This is a program for the school and school leadership. And our two main contacts are the CFOs usually, or business officers, and the facility director. And the main reason we really created this program, besides clients calling us 9 or 10 months after we did the original assessment and panicking because they had to get ready for a finance committee or a board meeting. The other reason is we continue to see a disconnect in the communication from the facilities side and the business office side. And it wasn't that And it was rarely where those two entities didn't like each other. It's just that they spoke different languages. And one of our main goals is to continue to fill that gap and help be a facilitator of what are the higher priority items. And as Bill said, now we're getting into strategic discussions on, and not just discussions, we're getting into strategic projects and partnerships on not only telling you what needs to happen, but also working with you and facilitating those projects. So, no, we're excited to have y'all, and excited to be able to kick this off virtually, and hopefully next year we'll be doing this in person again. But Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
You're muted. Kevin, I think you're muted.
Thanks. Okay. Too many screens going on here. Thank you, Bill and Dennis. I'm really excited to be with Building Solutions. I've spent my entire career studying the things that we try to perfect here. And being a facilities manager, I fully understand that we know a lot about facilities management and we know how to get it done, but we're just too busy to get it done when we're on the inside. We go from dealing with pee-poo vomit all the way up to the capital renewal and expenditures in the millions of dollars. So it's one of the most complex industries I've ever come across that and is extremely unique to anything else out there. And so HPC is in the constant development of that. And I'd just like to thank the team around me that's helping me to be able to do that, and especially my supervisor, Stuart Hempel, who is our Vice President of Assessment, comes with a wealth of wisdom and knowledge in the consulting world, which I know nothing about the consulting world, but he does. And he's been leading and guiding me to help to be effective with you, to be able to work with you and things of that nature. And then the assessment team is just phenomenal. When I have any kind of issue, I can hand that off to them and they can do the research for us to be able to come back with that. So in the last 10 minutes, I'd like to just give you a big picture of where we are with HPC. And this is something that people might look at. The assessment type programs is something that's always changing. And and those of you that have been with Building Solutions for a long time may think that, well, it keeps changing. Actually, it's not changing. It's an improvement continuum that we're moving along. The facility renewal assessment combination that we're working with is not an old technique. It's relatively new. And I spent about a decade with APA modernizing it as much as possible. And they have the most robust way of dealing with it for educational institutions in a unique way. And Building Solutions is the only firm I've ever come across that is 100% aligned with that way and always pursuing a way to be able to do that. And that's why I'm here today. And so I set course long ago that when I turn 60, I'm going to try to figure out some way to give back all that I've learned and had just some awesome opportunities to be able to work with people and rub shoulders with some of the best in the industry throughout the country. So I can't do it all by myself, though. It does require a lot of us to be able to do that kind of thing. So what I want to do is just give you a quick synopsis of what the HPC is like. And I've found it difficult to communicate because it requires such a wide variety of people. You have operations and you have finance, and they both equally are very important for the facility aspect of our education institutions. Institutions are typically three major components. You have faculty and staff, facilities, and everything else. So what we try to do is focus on that facilities aspect of it while we understand the support that gives to the rest of the community of the things that they need to do. You look at facilities as an investment endowment. This is the best way I can describe it for both finance and facilities to understand the order of magnitude of what we're dealing with. Some of your campuses, if you look at all of your facilities that need to be replaced, they range from $75 million to $500 million. That's typically more than more value than any endowment a school ever has. There are some exceptions with some major universities out there that have endowments that exceed their facilities, but they're far and few between. So you have to look at your facilities as an endowment, an actual cash endowment, because it has direct correlation to the finance of the school. And what we're doing as an assessment is the starting point of you being able to determine how those things fit together and how you manage that. So you have a reinvestment advising and a debt monitoring. So what we're doing is we're taking the assessment and all of these things that need to be renewed are real tangible things that have a value to them, and the school will eventually have to pay to renew those things. So you have to look at that like it's a debt. And it's a debt that's accruing interest because of inflation, and you're having to look for the striking point of when to do that, that particular component. The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. And then also you have the other benefit of if you wait longer, then you get more out of your asset. So there's a value there that has to be worked between the facilities and the finance person. And if you defer a $100,000 roof because you can maintain it, and let's say it's reached its proverbial 100,000 mile mark, like with a car, that okay, it's getting suspicious. We need to watch that one closely. You don't necessarily have to replace it right now. You can put it off, but just keep in mind that roof is getting more expensive the more you put it off, and you will have to replace it eventually. And but you don't want to take that money and use it for anything else. You need to keep it in place because you will need those funds in the very near future. So that way you can hold on to your money. You may earn some interest on it, so that's the benefit there. But you need to grow that cash to be prepared for that. The other correlation is that if your deferred maintenance, let's see here if I go to my next slide. So you have debt monitoring. That's one of the major pieces of that. So I refer to deferred maintenance as debt. Then you have operations efficiency. The higher the debt, the deferred maintenance gets larger. The facilities become less efficient because they're dealing with emergencies. They can't keep moving forward with improvement processes or projects. They don't have the ability to manage projects and things of that nature. So just like with COVID-19, the number one goal was to try to keep from running over the hospitals, try to keep everything managed and in check. It's very similar in that respect too, that if the deferred maintenance gets too high, out of control, well, the operations loses its ability to keep the campus running properly, and you start having failures that are affecting the mission of the school to educate. So they have a direct correlation to one another. So we have so what HPC is doing is helping you as a school with your improvement continuum program. And then we have project management that fits into that. So let me show you quickly how that looks. So this line here represents the school's life. It's been around long before us, and it'll be here long after us. So we have a responsibility and stewardship to ensure that we're doing our part for the institution to keep that moving forward. The HPC is a small blip of that follows that continuum, just like you do as staff. We're just a small blip there. Hopefully the HPC program will outlive me and the staff that are here and continue on to move on. So we're trying to create that kind of continuum that follows the school, not as individuals, but as a company that has that same mission to work with you. So the HPC is a small piece, and you can look at that as kind of like a part-time person for each institution. The cost is around that range, and you have us to be able to touch base with, and the facilities managers who are just inundated with all sorts of day-to-day work. They have someone that's doing their R&D, their research and development on the outside, and keeping tabs of all of these things so that when they have needs, they have someone to reach out to and say, hey, I've got a problem here. I don't have time to go out and get bids and talk to vendors and figure out how to do this. I need to know what you know. And then we have many other schools all over the country that have ideas and ways to be able to deal with that. And we deliver information to you. Sometimes it does require more than what your HPC program is, because it is a fairly, it's a small, part-time maintenance type thing. So there are times where we have to expand and grow into that. And so what we have the ability to do is become a much larger organization for you. So we're small, trying to keep targets, stay in touch, learning your operation. Okay, we need to increase quickly and come up with a full-blown program to get them past a certain hurdle. So the HPC is following you on your continuum, and then you get down to another point in time and you need help again. And we're able to bring our resources over, and we're going to take care of that issue at that time to help you get past that. So that is the quick opening I'd like to give you and help you understand what HPC is about. And that's what these topics are also going to be about, is helping you tie into all of those things and help you with your continued learning. So I really appreciate you joining us. And we will be moving over into our next topics here in just a minute, where Bill Dillard is over there waiting for us. So look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you very much. And just to let everybody know, the link to the next meeting is in the chat. It's also in your calendar invite. This session, along with all the other sessions, will be recorded, and we'll put them on our YouTube channel soon after the conference is over. So thank y'all very much for joining us in this opening ceremony, and we'll look to see you over at the next session.